Ben, Kember, we got this covered?
Anytime you're ready.
Oh, we got this.
Old school paper like that.
Pen and paper?
Yeah.
Who does that anymore?
I'm just gonna Skype you instead of like actually being here. We should just talk to like an iPad or something.
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
Or all be on the phone talking to each other.
Yeah.
I guess life with my father must have been pretty bleak and miserable for her. In the weeks before she left, I noticed that she started dressing different.
What do you mean, different?
Like, her clothes got tighter, sexier. And she even bought a mini skirt. Then there was that night that she walked in on me and Phil.
I think it's time for Phil to go home.
What? Why?
It's late.
It's not even midnight.
Cat, what I say goes. And I say go to bed.
The weirdest part was that she had on this nightgown that was practically see-through. It was almost like she was putting on a show.
Could it be that's what she was doing?
What putting on a show? For me or for Phil? No.
Wonderful movie, seriously.
Thank you very much.
I dig movies that take adolescence seriously, and this is one of the best ones that's come out in a bit.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I mean, for you, Shailene, it was the thing that's fascinating. I mean, ever since The Descendants, you've done an amazing job of portraying a real teenager on the screen. You know, your characters are you know, they go through growing up pains, and you present it in a way that feels honest and genuine. And I was curious, what's most important to you when you portray a teenager in a movie?
Being truthful. I mean, I so love that time period in all of our lives because it's so, it comes and it goes and it never comes back. You do things for the first time. Everything is new, whether it's not even just sexuality, but you know, having a conversation with an adult and being like, wow, they just took me seriously, or being intimidated for the first time, or being a leader for the first time, or being a follower for the first time. So many things happen that we base our entire adult lives around that I just think it's such a beautiful time. And so for me, it's been such a gift to explore the mindsets and the emotional capacities of different types of teenagers.
What I love also is that this movie has so many different styles to it. You know, there's like when you see Eva Green's character, it's kind of like she's in this like 50s, 60s housewife.
It's like Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally like Virginia Woolf.
And like there's a bit of an 80s feel, of course, obviously because that's when the movie takes place. And there's a David Lynchian feel to it as well.
And Laura Palmer herself shows up in the.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, was there any stylistic themes I'm missing, or anything you wanted to?
It's one of the things I loved about the movie and the book is that it's all these different genres but it's sort of unified in terms of this just sort of. The whole movie has a little bit of a dreamy, sort of surreal vibe to it, and it's just this. And the book itself is very sort of lyrical and very kind of poetic. And when I was making this film, I really wanted to sort of translate Laura's poetry of words sort of into this poetry of images, and that for me was sort of the kind of unifying thing that sort of pulls all these elements together.
I haven't read the book, but I'm definitely interested in reading it now. Definitely.
It's hard to get. Apparently, it's out of print, and I literally have people tell me it's like $100 or something on eBay and stuff.
Wow.
Because it's it hasn't been printed for a while.
The movie deals with issues like sexuality and becoming an adult, but a big issue that really stands out in this movie is of repression and how damaging that is. And it's like these characters are all desperate to sort of get out of a certain state where they're muzzled.
It's in the book. It's just this idea of the American dream, and that it is kind of a dream, and that it doesn't really exist, and that beneath the sort of surface of the perfect family, the perfect house, and the perfect life, there's this undercurrent of unhappiness, secrets, lies, deception, and it's just nothing's really what it seems. And that to me was, thematically as a filmmaker, just really fascinating.
There's no matches at any of the hospitals or morgue. No evidence of foul play. However, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, hundreds of wives go missing every week. The woman wants to vanish. Buddy, So you can.
Are you saying there's nothing we can do?
We've seen you play characters who've had very big tempers and so forth, and this is a little different because your character has a lot of trouble dealing with his emotions and getting them out. And what was that like for you?
Very constipated. It was very, very binding. Very, and it was a different change. It was a change of pace, and I appreciated it. And it was a fun way to go out of character.
Were there any specific inspirations that came to you when playing this role?
No, the inspiration kind of came off the page. It came off of what I knew from Gregg's work, because I'd seen his film, so I knew, I felt as though I knew how the story was going to be told, what's the sensibility of it was going to be. And I think, and I'm pretty familiar with people in denial, people not confronting what's in front of them and what needs to be confronted because they're afraid of the answers.
What would you say was the most challenging part of this role for you?
Growing that mustache. No, I think carrying around. I think Brock made me sad. I think he just made me. That was all. That was. I think I wanted him to find I kept wanting him to find the answer, and I know he wasn't going to. But I'd go to work just with that mindset of. He'll find it today.
It's very hard to make you look like a wimp in a movie or a TV show. We don't really see that with you, and you do make a very convincing one here, which says a lot about you as an actor, I think. Was that hard for you to pull off?
I felt that he was a guy who couldn't carry the weight that his circumstances he had allowed the circumstances to be placed on him, and that he was a guy that when confronted when presented with confrontation, he would shy away from it. He didn't have the tools to. He would do anything, not to confront anything, even though he'd put up a front of trying to confront. So I guess he comes off as a little wimpy. Yeah.
You came here to seduce me.
I know.
It worked.
My father had his own drawer of secrets.
Your mother never loved me. No evidence. Not a single trace.
She's got to be somewhere, right?
You need to let some of your anger out. You're gonna crack.
Why are you doing this? Are you insane?
Harder!
Please, I don't care what it is. I just cannot keep living my life in the dark, just wondering.
Don't ask me. Ask him.
Why won't anyone listen to me?
Mom?
The beautiful woman she once was became a phantom wandering away in a snowstorm.